This is sort of a special episode for you. A little while ago, Garden of Quilts that is put on at Thanksgiving Point in Lehi, Utah, was being held by Riley Blake Designs. And several of my Design Suite members happened to be in town to go to that event. I was a vendor at that event and I was in Meet the Makers, but I didn't really plan until the last moment to have them over for dinner. So since we had members coming from Idaho and Wyoming and all over Utah, we just decided to go ahead and have a dinner in my backyard. We also actually had guest Emily Hogue of Quilt 101 also just hanging out with us. You won't hear her in this podcast episode, but she just came and joined us. She's been on previous podcast episodes. Go check that out because she is amazing. Anyway, I thought this would be just a fun way for you to get to know my Design Suite members, what they're doing, what they're accomplishing. They're doing such marvelous things. And this was just a really fun chat. As we sat around in my living room, we did the dinner outside and then came inside and just hung out and chat. And you're getting a very short version of what everybody talked about and answering questions. And then afterwards, we talked for a very, very long time. I mean, hours. For hours and hours and hours. And that has been cut up and cleaned up as a bonus for Design Suite members. So if you're listening to this and you're a Design Suite member, don't you worry, there is a bonus episode for you in your calendar portal that you can go watch of all the things we're talking about. We're pretty open, it's pretty fun, and I hope you really enjoy this episode.
So my name's Jennifer Meekum, and my question is, who has helped you the most at Design Suite? And I think that's a hard one. Of course, Carina, because she, is always there to critique or give advice and help me improve my work a lot. And then I have to say Diane, who is easy to get a hold of. You know what I mean? She's our person we go to, right? As far as getting questions answered. I love her, and she's just very supportive. We get to see her in squad meetings, and I enjoy Diane a lot. And then I'm super excited because I feel like after this weekend, I have a lot of people who are now going to be my helpers. I'm like, we're buddies, and I know who I can reach out to. So that's what I love. It's a very open and caring community, and full of encouragement and kindness, and just working to help us all reach our best. So that's that. And you can find me I have an Etsy shop. It's Jennifer Meekum Design without an S. And then on Instagram, it's Jennifer Meekum Designs.
Oh, now I have to put the glasses back on. Oh, what is my favorite part of Design Suite? Okay, I'm Becky Telford, and my favorite part of Design Suite is the community and the permission that I get to be an artist. I think that's a really hard step for a lot of people to say, I'm a creator, I'm a crafter, but to take that leap to I am an artist and what I do is valuable and marketable. And that's the takeaway. Oh, and you can find me at 17 Cherry Tree Lane _Lane on Instagram. So Etsy shop coming soon.
Okay, hi, my name's Jen Belknap, and my question is, what is a great story about something you have designed? So, the story that I love to share, but it's also kind of hard for me to share, is I designed a quilt pattern, and it's called the Baby Alma quilt, and I designed it. It's a big giant heart with lots of rainbow colors in it, and I designed it for rainbow babies. Now, a rainbow baby is a baby that is born after an infant loss. So after a miscarriage, a stillborn baby, or an infant death. And unfortunately, this is part of my family's story, and it is actually what got me into quilting. Was I lost a baby, and I was in a very dark place, and I found a rainbow jelly roll on sale at Missouri Star Quilt Company, And I bought it and I started cutting it up and just praying that I would get pregnant, because when you lose a baby, suddenly the entire universe is pregnant except for you. And it was a very difficult thing for me to go through, but as I was cutting up that fabric and sewing it back together, I literally felt like I was sewing my soul back together. And then as I got into design, I felt like I needed to design this quilt for these rainbow babies because it brought me so much joy and so much peace. Eventually we were able to get pregnant, and the little girl that was born is nothing but sunshine and rainbows in our family and has brought us a lot of joy. And that's why I designed the quilt that I'm hoping can bring the peace and joy that I found as I designed it, and as I found quilting. Like, I found so much peace and solace and healing through that experience. So you can buy that baby Alma quilt in my Etsy shop, which is Smitten Chicken, and you can also follow me on Instagram, Smitten Chicken.
My name is Melanie Curtis. My question is, tell me something fun about Design Suite. Something that I find like been fun for me is learning Illustrator. I dabbled in it years ago because my kids actually would bring home their projects and they're like, Mom, how do you help me with this? And so I sort of dabbled in it, but now like I'm full like engaged in it and doing things with it. And so Illustrator's become fun. Now I definitely have, it's a love-hate relationship some days, and some things just don't work the way I think that they're supposed to. So, but I really have enjoyed like taking the time to like learn different aspects to do some fun different things that I would never have known before I didn't learn. Illustrator, like I have, thanks to the Design Suite. So.
Do you want anyone to find you?
No, because I have nowhere to be found yet.
Instagram?
No.
It's because you're doing it right. She's doing it right, you guys. No Instagram until 1,000 designs.
Oh great. Now my went on high. I'm never going to get into an Etsy shop. I'm never going to.
I'm Asia Fillmore, and you can find me at Spoonflower as Asia Fillmore Creations, on Instagram as asiafillmore.creations, and Asia Fillmore Creations on Etsy. So, and my question is, what was the last thing you designed? And that's pretty easy for me because I just designed I was working on a little like girl and her dog drawing and collection. So, yeah.
And what are you gonna do with it?
I want to make a fabric line out of it.
I feel like we should make this question way harder. What's the last 5 things you designed?
Last 5 things that I designed?
Just did the peach one?
Yes. So I just worked on the dog, and the girl and her dog is what it is. It's based off of my daughter who loves her dog. So we have a golden retriever. And then I did a collection that was like peaches and florals. So that was really pretty. And then I designed my Halloween collection that was way out of my comfort zone.
So much, you guys, because I think this is only in the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my follow-up question for her was going to be, how many collections have you designed?
That's a good question, Judy. How many collections have I designed? Let's see.
Since you've been in Design Suite, how many collections have you designed? Because you've done a lot, because you've been inspired to create.
I have. I really have. I've put in a lot of work into this last year. So, I don't know that I could like specifically name how many, but I've at least collections is probably close to 50.
Yeah, which is every collection has at least what, 6 to 12 or closer to 24. How many papers do you run?
Average is 16.
Yeah, 16. So 16 times 50, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm Andrea Locke,
And my question is, do you know what you want to have your design emphasis be? Mostly after this weekend, pre-cuts and in kits, pre-cut fabrics and quilt kits. So I have a fetish with fabric, so I have a collection of it. It's not my own yet, I'll get there. So I have a lot of fabric that I can divvy out for that. So.
And Andrea, talk about like your own quilt patterns, is it the other people's, what are you doing?
Starting out will be other people's until I get my own designed and set. So you can find me on Instagram under Andrea Locke Designs and on Spoonflower under Andrea Locke Designs.
My name is Chantel Bailey, and my question is, tell me something fun about Design Suite. So I think hanging out with all the Design Suite ladies is probably a highlight, but I also love our squad meetings and our community, because when you have a question, when you don't know what to do, when you're trying to set up your shop and you don't know how to do your README files, the community is really the best place to get all that help and support. So I think the community is probably the best thing. You can find me on Instagram at Chantel Bailey Design, or coming soon to Raspberry Creek Fabric.
I'm Kara Thompson, and I am the newest baby to Design Suite, I think. So my question kind of is, what do you see yourself doing with your design future, which kind of correlates with being brand new in Design Suite. It's really fun to kind of navigate and see everything that's an option, like everything that's out there. So of course I want to do it all, but slowly I'm starting with SVG and Illustrator designing, so that eventually I can be an expert at that and start designing paper. I've had a love affair with paper since I can remember, when I started writing when I was 10 years old and thought I was going to be, you know, the next Irma Bombeck. And so I will probably stay on after the year. My focus for the first year will be SVGs, designing paper, and then moving on to hopefully designing some fabric. I'm still afraid of the idea of creating my own patterns, but I can create pretty things to use. So that's what I'm hoping to do. And you can find me on Etsy now at Ph.D. Creating, and on Instagram at Kara Thompson 208.
I asked for the tough ones, man.
Right.
I'm Jeannie Dickinson from Jeannie's Designs and Jeannie Dickinson Art, and I have been a member of Design Suite for 18 months, and I've known Carina for 12 years. So I am an artist, and what I wanted to do was learn how to get my art from the art stage to the digital design stage and be able to use it in fabric and cuts and all kinds of different types of files and do the work. And that's what it takes. You can join whatever group you want, but if you want some place to cry with, to have fun with, people who understand what it takes to design, and someone to encourage you and get you to do the work, then this is where you need to be. And life is going to take a lot of hard turns. So you have to decide that it's going to be the priority. It'll be the thing that pulls you out of the dark places. It'll be the thing that keeps you going. And you will finally get to the point that it's a habit that you truly miss not getting to design that day, or not getting to do art and then design with it. So one foot in front of the other, and you have to keep plugging along. And I'm not just saying that. Just in the last year, I have almost died twice. I had a granddaughter try to commit suicide twice. It happens, life happens. And you have to choose to put the work in. And this place, this design suite, has the support and the camaraderie that will encourage you to keep going and keep trying. And you can find me at Jeannie Dickinson Art on Instagram. I am JD Cut and Print Designs and Jeannie's Designs on Etsy. I have the 2 shops. So that's where you can find me. Oh, and Design Suite. So come join me.
About Design Suite. You guys are the ones creating this community. It's not me. I facilitate it, but you guys are the ones who make it. So it truly is. I remember when Sweet Kim came over in November and we offered up the Etsy thing, and I said, why don't you teach some of them how to do the Etsy thing? And I remember you did it, and then you talked to several people, and then you came up, we were on Marco Polo, and you were like, why are your people so nice?
You guys are the most amazing women, amazing, talented.
But for the most part, you guys totally do this on your own. You build the community part. I help you with the design part, but you guys build the community part. But the community piece has turned into an important piece, and I really didn't expect that. That was completely a spontaneous bit of building this program. So
it's not just that. Do you care if I add something?
Add whatever you want, Jen.
So I'm a part of a bunch of different like online forums on Facebook or groups or whatever, and within the design industry, most people hold their cards very close. So I was part of a pattern design community, and I was trying to release my first pattern, and I asked the question, how much do you charge for a pattern? Oh, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno. And I was like, what? Just tell me how much you charge it. Like, what do I charge for a basic pattern? And there's this scarcity mindset, and it's just not true. And that here, it's a safe place, and we're able to help each other because somebody's going to like my designs and someone's going to like yours better than mine. And you design for an audience, and it's not taking away from me if somebody buys yours. Like there's not scarcity, there's enough for everyone. So
yeah, 100%. And you guys, I think that gets created a little bit from you guys telling each other things, but also you guys know that I'm willing to share just about anything. Maybe too much. Overshare, I've been called. But I think that's an important piece, because if you guys know I'm not holding anything close, like where I'm not telling you guys things, I think that would also manifest itself in the community as well. But you guys know I'll tell you the numbers, I'll tell you what's sucking right now. I'll tell you that right now I'm working real hard on my Etsy. Crystal and I are struggling with it, and we have to call Sweet Kim. You guys know
the potential is unlimited.
That is 100% so true.
And so many people don't think that you can have one piece of art, one design. We were talking about this out there. And you can do them 100 ways, people. It's limitless. Don't shortchange yourself or each other.
Yeah, and it used to not be that way. It is limitless now, the way the online space is. Even, I would say, when I started 14 years ago, there was a stagnant, like it was still very difficult to figure out which shops were gonna do well, which ones were gonna make money. But now you can literally go in and see the data on a lot of these shops and see what's making money, what's gonna actually work. And there are so many shops where, honestly, there's so many shops where you can make $10,000 a month. You just have to stick to it. That's the craziest part about it. And all we're trying to do on my team for our design business is continue to add an extra $100,000 every year to what we're doing. I'm like, if we're doing that, why can't you do that? And I did it by myself for 13 years, all by myself. And I did it with little kids, and I did it while I was the creative director of a company, and I did it owning a physical product company. And I still had that online shop stuff going on underneath. So it's totally doable.